All right, folks. I learned about this service called Resend actually as I was building out my app in Lovable, and it suggested that this was the best tool to use for email. So when you're building an application, chances are you're going to have some need to send emails, transactional emails such as "Welcome to my app." Your account has been created, things like that. Also, you'll want to think about things like when an application user deletes their account, you want to be able to send them a message that their account has been disabled or has been removed. There's many use cases for having emails for your application. So today I'm going to show you how to get this set up using completely AI generated everything. So first, this is Resend. It's a tool for developers. And now that AI is here to help non-technical users actually become developers using AI, this is for you as well. They make it really easy to link up. They've got a ton of different languages you can use for the implementation, and they've got plenty of code examples. So your AI coding agent should have no issues working with this. There's plenty of documentation, so if it is implementing something, it's going to use the best practices. But I want to just show you how simple this is. So I first start off in Figma, and what I've done here is created just a welcome email template in Figma. And the nice thing about Figma is not only can you make designs, but you could also set this to developer mode. And we've got the welcome email here. And over on the right-hand side under the MCP settings, there's actually a prompt example that they provide you to have whatever AI that you're using implement this design. So we're just gonna go ahead and copy this example prompt and go over to Claude. You might think you can just paste this into Claude and it will run as expected. What I've done actually here is added Figma as a tool that Claude is able to access. You'll just add Figma, enable it, and make sure that you authenticate through to Figma in your Claude environment. So I've already done that, so I'm not going to walk through all the steps there, but that is a connector within Claude that allows us to do this. I'm also going to add another bit of insight here in the prompt because, as we know, your output is only as good as your prompt, and you want to be as detailed as you can, giving it the information that it needs in order to give you a good prompt. So I'm going to add in this other prompt here, which is I want you to create an HTML template for me to copy into resend.com for my welcome email template. Ensure it's structured for maximum compatibility and is responsive to different screen sizes. And then right below that, that's just the implement this Figma design that we got right here from the Figma MCP settings. From here, we'll go ahead and I'm actually going to switch the model to use Opus 4.5. I believe this is more effective at running this. I've run a couple of these just for testing purposes with the Opus 4.5, and I've been pretty happy with the results. So we'll go ahead and run this, and we'll see what it does. So it's thinking now, starting with fetching the Figma design to understand what the welcome email template is needing. All right, so it's actually generating this HTML template, and it's just flying. Really using this Opus 4.5 because it seems to really be able to handle these types of prompts really well. And I could only imagine if I had to manually code all of this for this email template, just how long it would take for me to actually go through all those different steps. So let's see, copying email template to outputs direct. All right, I think it's almost done. And while we wait for that, we're gonna go ahead and create the template. So now I am logged in to resend.com on this template section here on the sidebar. I've got a couple others that I've created already, but we're just gonna create a new template and this will load. And here is where you would typically, if you didn't have an HTML template that you can drop in, you're able to add different styles, other information in here. You're able to add different blocks like text, heading, bullet list, and others. But we're not going to do any of that because we've just had Claude actually go through and manage all of the email generation for us. So let's see. So generated, welcome to CallWell. Hi, user first name. Thank you for creating your CallWell account. We're excited to help you stay connected with your loved ones through daily wellness check-ins. It's got a link here or a button to send them to the dashboard. Also a URL to paste it in case the button doesn't work for whatever reason, and some next steps. So I'm pretty happy with this. It looks like these icons and the logo is not rendering correctly in Claude. But we're not going to worry about that quite yet. We're just going to go ahead and copy this here in the top right. Actually, we'll need to switch over to the code and copy the code in because this is actually what Resend is going to be able to recognize. So we go over here to the HTML, hit copy, and then right here in the template, we're going to paste it in. And it looks like it was able to pull up the logo and the icons without any issues. So on first glance, this is looking really good. It almost took no effort. Like I said, imagine having to go through all this HTML and building this from scratch. It would be incredibly time consuming, but we've just handed over that task to Claude, and Claude is handling all of that. They've taken my design in Figma and they've mostly copied it over pretty well, but all of the code was handled. I'll probably want to customize this to make sure we have the exact text that we have listed here. So once it's in here, you are able to adjust some of these things. For example, if we wanted this to be left justified, we could align it to the left. For this, just go here. Oh, it looks like that's not quite working, but we can make updates to this from here, and we can make changes here. Thank you for creating, let's say, your new CallWell account. We're excited. So any changes you make here will keep that existing HTML structure and work just fine. Now, one of the things that I will walk you through is within Resend, they use these things called variables. So Claude didn't quite get this right, but what we can do is we can do 3 brackets here and we'll create a new variable. And this is, we'll just say user underscore first name, and this will create a new variable there. And we'll hit create. So it's going to put the user first name in there as a variable. And we'll also want to do that for these as well. So we'll call this dashboard URL. And now we have a variable. And I'm just going to go ahead and delete this other one because it's now been replaced. And the same thing for this one down here. We're going to want to use a variable as well. So we'll just create a new one here, same as we've done before, user email address, and hit create. And I'm just going to clean up the old text that was there because it's no longer needed. Oh, let's see here. And that will just drop that right in place. Now, the other thing you should think about is your subject line. So you can use AI within Resend, which is just going to automatically generate a subject line for you. So when the email is sent, it's not sent without a subject line. Welcome to CallWell, your wellness journey begins. And you can also click on preview text, which is the short line of text that's shown on an email once it's sent right after the subject line. And this says, welcome to CallWell, get started with your wellness check-in journey. And we're set there. The last thing that we need to add here is a from email. So I'm going to use this. I've already set up a verified domain, which is required to send these out to anyone else. And that is just populating there on that list. So I'm able to just select that. And here we are ready to go. So I'm going to hit publish. It's got a couple of warnings saying that there's a variable that has no fallback value. So if an email is sent and that variable has not been passed to Resend in the API call, then it needs to know what is it going to fall back to. In my case, I'm not going to worry about that just because I'm going to verify that all the variables are sent through. the email is not very meaningful if those variables are not sent through with the personalization. But in this case, you would either have the first name, which might be John, for example. But if that doesn't go through, you might say, hey, how would I say this if I don't have the username? Maybe you just say, hi there. And we can put that here, hi there, as a fallback value for the username. And for the dashboard URL, you can have a fallback, which is just your website URL, https callwell.care. Now I have a fallback for that one. And the fallback for the user email address. That is really important because if we don't send that, then we don't know where it's sending, and it wouldn't actually send anyways. So I'm just going to assume that that's always going to be there. And one last thing I noticed here is 2024. It's actually 2025, so I'm just going to update that, and soon to be 2026. But that's very easy to replace and update as time goes on. You can go back to the template, but we're now going to just hit publish. We'll slide to publish. And now we've got our template created. We can click onto here, back to the template, and we can see that everything is in there. And if you click the three dots here, you can see the details, which shows you a preview of the email. It shows you the HTML and a plain text version and an alias. But one thing I will point out is when your system, your app in Lovable is going to call this email generation, it's going to need this code here, which is the template ID. So you'll want to copy that and save that for later, for once you're ready to integrate this into Lovable. So I hope that really helps. We've just taken the last 10 or 12 minutes here to walk through how to create a new email template using Resend. And in later videos, I will show you how to actually integrate this into your Lovable app. Thanks. We'll see you later.